everyone, and welcome to this Video Sans Frontier video. My name is Jay Whitefield. Today is February the 21st, which, if I'm right in thinking, this would be the 20th anniversary of when Billy Carr actually first started his interest with 90s nostalgia. So, happy 10th anniversary of your love of all things 90s, Billy. Now, this video, in this video, we're actually back with the Toshiba T2130CT. And what we're going to be doing with the T2130CT is we're actually going to be reformatting the hard drive and installing Windows 3.1. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Older fans of the channel, as in fans, people who have been watching Video Sans Frontier videos since 2012, will remember that I actually already did install Windows for WorkGroups 3.11 on one of these machines, even though I thought at the time it was a T2130CS, and yeah. But this time I thought I might actually be able to do a better job of it. I mean, for one thing, I am actually using a tripod this time, which is an improvement right there. Secondly, I believe that I'm using a better video capture method. This time I'm using a Galaxy S5, whereas before I was using an HTC Sensation. So yeah, before we do that though, let's discuss this laptop as it is. Now, in the last video about this machine, you saw that it was running Windows 95B, and it kind of still is. You'll also probably notice that, all told, this isn't bad. This isn't a bad Windows 95 machine at all. Even though there's no printer installed. But, oh well. However, if we have a look at the hard disk, which is about 500 megabytes across, we actually see that it's half full. Now, this Toshiba T2130CT had more on it than what mine did. My other one did originally have. The other one only had literally the Internet Explorer 4 browser and nothing else. Well, obviously it had Windows 95 and, you know, all the applications it was bundled with. But this one has Internet Explorer 4, Outlook Express, no active desktop, mind you, but there's Microsoft Works on here, and Adobe Acrobat Reader 3.01. So you might be wondering, why do I want to actually install Windows for WorkGroups 3.11 and MS-DOS 6.22 on here? Well, it's quite simple really. I personally think of 486s as making better DOS and Windows WorkGroups 3.11 machines, or Windows 3.1 machines. And, you know, that way they can run a lot faster, and you get proper DOS. So, you know, you can take advantage of some games, which is brilliant. Also, with this only having a 500 megabyte hard drive, it's probably going to be a wee bit of a better fit. Now, this machine was designed for Windows 95, but it will run absolutely fine on Windows for WorkGroups 3.11. So, with that in mind, let's get going. Oh, and just before I do, if you're wondering, yes, I would actually format this, even if I was going to leave it as a Windows 95 machine, because, you know, this is someone else's installation, and, you know, their personal files are still on here. If you want to know how to get rid of your personal files on your laptop before you actually get rid of it, please see my video on how to deban your computer's hard drive. Anyway, what we're going to do is we've got a DOS 6.22 diskette here, disk 1. What I'm going to insert it. Before I do that though, I think what I've decided to do is I'll just F-disk the hard disk. So that'll be quite simple. All I need to do here is drop down to DOS mode. Of course, there is no sound because this machine is not a multimedia machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type F-disk. Right. This drive is formatted as FAT16 because it is only a smaller capacity drive. So it's not asked me if I want to enable large capacity hard disk support. What I want to do is delete a partition or logical disk drive. I actually want to delete the primary DOS partition. I want to delete partition number 1. There is no volume label, so I'll just type Y to "Are you sure?" Yes. You must restart your system for the changes to take effect. Any drives you've created or changed must be formatted after you restart. Shut down Windows before restarting. Press Escape to exit F-disk. Now, this hard disk, when I restart the machine, this hard disk, to all intents and purposes, will be blank. When I say, oh dear. There we go. The delete key was stuck. I was a wee bit worried there. Oh well, it seems to work now. When I say the hard disk will be blank, right now the system is actually booting up from the MS-DOS disk. Uh-oh. I've just noticed another problem here. Oh no, it's not a problem. Just that the spring seem anything holding up the right arrow key on this keyboard seems to have collapsed, but it still actuates and deactuates, so that I guess is okay. I thought the delete key had went as well, but nope. Anyway. So, the hard disk, when you F-disk a hard disk like this, it only actually kind of erases it, which basically means it marks the areas as free. When in actual fact, the data is still extremely recoverable. To make it a lot more difficult to get rid of data on a hard disk, you have to overwrite it several times. And that's what something like deban does. Overwrites the data with zeros. But the only surefire way to actually destroy data on a hard disk is to take a hammer to it. But I'm glad the previous owner of this laptop didn't, because it means I have a machine that's pretty much complete. Anyway, enough of that. Let's now go and install DOS 6.22. So, I'm going to set up DOS now, press enter. It will notice that the hard disk has no partitions on it, so it's offering to configure the unallocated disk space now. And what this will do is it will create a partition, then it will restart, and when it does, it will actually format the hard disk drive, which again is very nice of it. So it's just starting MS-DOS now. And as you can see, it's gone straight to formatting the hard disk. Now, depending on the size of your hard disk, this can take some time. So my recommendation to you is, all together now, go and make yourself a cup of tea while this is formatting. So, with that said, I'll be right back as soon as it has actually finished formatting. Okay, so now the hard disk is finished formatting and we've come to this screen. Setup will use the following system settings. Now, please forgive the fact that the time and date is a wee bit wrong. So I'm guessing it's the American format, so it would be 2/21/15. I have a horrible feeling that this machine might have actually no. Oh, this was me doing it wrong. You gotta be careful, actually. I'll tell you what the problem was. Heart attack over. Right. The problem was when I lifted this up the other night, last night, and put it back down again, it kind of stopped some keys going down, and it stopped this key going up. And I thought that this machine had been the unfortunate victim of a liquid spill at some point. But I'm really glad it has now, because I was all set to be scouring eBay for another keyboard and cursing myself for not keeping the bits to the 2130CS, which expired a wee bit before its time. See, now this is quite difficult to get open and closed. So you know, and as I broke the other one, in fact it was actually while I was recording a video when I broke the other palm rest on the other 2130CT, I didn't actually want to I wanted to be careful with this one, but all these keys seem to be working now, so yeah. Right. James. This is why you've got to be careful working on these old machines, because you could do something catatonically stupid, and then you'd be the lacking stock of your cell. And that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is you break a laptop that you've been trying to scour the internet for. Right, good. I'm going to move this machine in front of me. Unfortunately, this does mean I might not be able to fully see what I'm doing because the tripod's in the way. Right, so what's the time? Time is 1:34 PM, so I hope this likes military time. Excellent, right. Now, keyboard layout is the UK, and we are, at the moment, still in the UK. Even as Scotland becomes independent, you'll still have to select United Kingdom in DOS setup. And this is advice that you don't get from any other MS-DOS installation video. Sorry guys, we've kind of got to do what we've got to do here. Anyway, C:\DOS, that's where we're going to install DOS 2. Now MS-DOS will install. You will need the other 2 disks and then the supplemental disk if you plan to install the supplemental utilities, which, if you were to ask, yes I do. So I have the other disks, and you know, well, you probably can go and grab a biscuit or something, you know, shortbread or whatever takes your fancy. Please do be aware that you will need to be not too far from the machine for disk swapping. It's not like Windows 95 where you can just kind of, not like the CD version of Windows 95 where you can just put the disk in, set it to install, and then just forget about it for a few minutes. So yes, you can make a cup of tea, but you will be interrupted by a loud beeping noise as MS-DOS demands that you change disks. Also, it's worth mentioning that haggis is extremely tasty. Anyway, I'll be right back once it asks for disk 2. I say that and it asks for disk 2 immediately as I hit the stop button, the pause button on the recording, so I'm just going to now do some disk swapping. Very funny. Oh, wait. Disk 2. Disk 3. Okay, so this is away installing now, so I'll just let it. And I'll be back as soon as it's finished. Also, you might want to entertain yourself by reading some of these billboards. Okay, MS-DOS is finished installing. So now it's telling me to remove disks from all the floppy disk drives and then press enter. MS-DOS 6.22 is now installed on your computer. To restart your computer with MS-DOS 6.22, press enter. To learn more about your MS-DOS 6.22 features, new MS-DOS 6.22 features, type help what's new at the command prompt. Nice helpful bit of information there. Now, when I reboot this machine, it will boot into MS-DOS. There we go. Now, there's a lot of things that I need to do before I'm even at a stage where I can actually install Windows. First off, I want to actually install the supplemental utilities for DOS. So, to do that, I need MS-DOS 6.22 supplemental tools. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this disk in the machine now. And to set this up, I need to type A : to actually navigate, to actually log to the A drive. And I want to type setup C:\DOS. So basically, I'm telling it that I want to set it up to the DOS directory where MS-DOS is installed. I'm going to press enter. And it's going to ask me if I want to install all the features or selected features only, or if I just want to exit. And actually, I want to install every feature. Now it's going to ask me what display adapter I have. I have a VGA adapter. No, not a VGA monochrome. Or an EGA monochrome. Selected VGA, is that correct? Yes, it is. Now it's going to warn me that one of these files already exists, but I'm just going to copy over it. And there's a few cool quick basic utilities. There's a few cool quick basic programs that you can try as well, which you know, they are pretty cool, including a DOS version of what appears to be Snake. It's called Rattler Race, just like the version in the Windows Entertainment Pack. Anyway, that's the supplemental utilities installed, so I'm just gonna restart the machine. There's a couple of programs I want to install before I actually get around to installing Windows. So I don't reinstall at least one of them now. I'm going to install Microsoft Works for DOS. This is version 3.0, and I once used this in school. I mostly used Works 3 for Windows in school, but this one time I was actually able to use Works 3 for DOS. Because I was working on databases with one of my schoolmates who is actually blind, and the text-to-speech system for these machines, for the machines that we were using, did not work in Microsoft Windows. So we actually had to use DOS programs to get them to work. These are 720k disks, and there are 5 of them. So what we need to do is we actually need to insert the floppy disk and then type /setup.exe. At least I hope we do, otherwise I'm going to look so stupid. And this will actually install a mouse driver as well, which is nice. Okay. So it's now welcome to Microsoft Works version 3.0. Want to press enter to install it. Let's install a new copy of Works 3.0, and we'll allow setup to make the best choice. And we'll install it to C:\works. Now, this might be confusing, because what we can see here is 2 shades of blue and 2 shades of red. Now, the option that you're supposed to choose if you have an LCD monitor would actually assume that the LCD monitor is monochrome, because a lot of LCD panels were monochrome back in the day. So, with that in mind, we actually just want to choose a default option: 2 shades of red and 2 shades of blue and 50 shades of grey. Sorry, had to get that in. We don't want to install printer drivers. So what's going to happen now is Works is going to install. I think it might install a mouse driver, I'm not too sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just let it install, and you know, yep, there we go. It's asking for a disk, and you can tell how old this installer routine is because that looks like a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive, which of course these disks aren't. So let's grab this disk and throw it in the floppy drive. Press the enter button. And I'll be back as soon as this is installed. Okay, so Works has finished installing. So, I wonder if a mouse driver is installed. I'm starting to think it maybe hasn't, because it didn't ask me if I wanted to install one. And see, with Microsoft Word setup usually asks. It does take a while to test the memory on this. No, I don't think it has installed a mouse driver. Oh well. So here's Works. It's basically like the Windows version. I find it quite amusing how I've gone from showing Works 4.0 at the start of this video to showing Works for DOS 3.0. And yes, I didn't actually realise that Disk 1 was a Virgin disk and would forever save my details. So yeah, I kind of do feel a wee bit bad about it now being registered to me. I wish I'd have made a copy of it. I remember an IT teacher of mine said if you get a copy of Office, if you get a copy of anything on floppy disks, always make a copy of Disk 1 and install from the copy, so then you've always got a Virgin Disk 1. I've obviously taken away some of the worth of this now because it's now registered. I remember doing this database in Works 3.0 for DOS. So that's what I used it for. I was amazed at how good the interface looked. You're doing a database on cars as well, so it's again, you know, pretty good. Open existing files. Works Wizard. Nice. So the Works Wizard were even available in this version of Works on MS-DOS. That is pretty cool. So what I want to do, first time install, custom installation. I've got 2 PC card slots. Right, excellent. So it's detected the PC card slots that I have. I want to install card services. Don't want to install the ATA card driver or formatting utility or any of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to install just the basics. Yes, I want it to change auto-exec and config.sys. Oh, sugar. Yep. Right, okay. So, before I do anything, I should probably restart the computer just to kind of see what's happened. And now we are actually finally getting closer to getting Windows installed. Excellent. What I want to do is I want to plug in the PC card CD-ROM drive. And now the PC has beeped and the CD-ROM drive is spinning up. I can take out the disk that I was using with the XPI. If you remember in the XPI video, I'd left the disk in there. Whoops. And what I'm actually going to then do is restart the machine again. Just to be on the safe side, because what we're away to do now is install the Arcos CD-ROM drivers. Right. And I know this video has dragged on way too long. I'm very sorry about that. I'm testing extended memory yet again. Right. So, putting the floppy disk in the drive, type install. Whoopsie-daisy. Wrong disk. Seem to be doing that a lot today. There we go. So, yes, we want to install it to the ARC drive. Now, I know that some of you are probably yelling, but Jay, this isn't the Arcos CD-ROM drive. Don't worry. These drivers will work with this CD-ROM drive. It's amazing. In fact, they are the best ones to work with this particular drive, because I tried installing the Freecom drivers and it just didn't want to know. Now, sometimes I can have a wee bit of a problem with the card socket services and the CD-ROM drive. So what I'm going to do, I've had to restart the machine yet again, so that, I can actually initialize the CD-ROM drivers. Once again, it's testing the memory. So now we see that the CD-ROM drive has been initialized in DOS, but will it actually read the CD? Yes, it does. So I would say that that is a success. So, what I'll do in a wee minute is I will come back with a CD-ROM with the Windows 3.1 installer files on it. Now I know that I could use this rather impressive set of Windows for Workgroups disks, which also includes some DOS disks. There we go, Windows for Workgroups. But I'd like to use a CD-ROM, so that's what I'll do. So I will be right back. Okay, so now the time has come to install Windows. Very much against my will, I've closed the blinds. The reason it's against my will is because I really quite like natural light, unlike the computer geek stereotype. Also, some time has since elapsed because I decided, just to kind of take a wee break, and in doing so, made myself a fresh cup of tea and hang up some laundry. So I do apologise for the whining that you may have heard towards the beginning of this video. It was actually the washing machine doing the washing, which is brilliant. Anyway, also, since you were gone, I've installed another couple of DOS applications, WordPerfect and Microsoft Word. I've also copied the Windows 3.1 installation files to a folder called WinDRVS. And the reason I've done that is basically the same reason I copy Windows 95, 98 and Millennium Edition files to c:/windows/options/cabs. It's because I don't need to be scouting around for Windows 3.1 installation media, you know, if I want to make a change to the system. Also, I've made sure that there's nothing in the CD-ROM drive so that Windows doesn't try anything stupid like it doesn't try to install itself from the to the installation CD-ROM like it did in my other T2130CT restore video, even though I called it a T2130CS then, because I think on the other machine that was a T2130CT, it had the lid from a T2130CS on it. And there was also a placeholder on this side of the screen where the contrast wheel would be. Obviously it was missing and kind of made it look like the machine had been vandalised, when in fact what had probably happened is they'd either replaced the screen with an active matrix version, or they'd replaced the top lid cover with one from a T2130CS when the machine was actually a T2130CT. Anyway, enough of my jabber jabber, let's get installing. So I'm just going to go to setup, and this starts almost like DOS setup. I want to set up Windows Workgroups 3.11 now. I want to do a custom setup, install it to c:/windows. Now the reason I want to do a custom setup is because I wish to change the keyboard layout to British and the language to English International. To accept this list, press enter. So, because I'm installing Windows Workgroups 3.11 from the hard drive, it means it goes a lot quicker than if I was installing it from floppy disks. And because I'm not installing it from a read-only media, it does mean that I get to choose my company name. Now, I did have a slight issue with the serial mouse in some of my DOS applications, and it seems that the issue is kind of making itself known in Windows. See, it's not actually working. The trackpoint is working, but the serial mouse isn't. And you know, I really don't know why that is, but I'll come to that. I'll work on that in a few minutes. Do you know what I've done, actually? I've told it to set up as a Microsoft or IBM PS2 mouse. I should have actually paid more attention. So as soon as Windows is set up, I can go in and change that. In fact, I have a copy of Microsoft IntelliMouse for Microsoft Mouse and IntelliMouse Plus, and IntelliMouse products that I can go ahead and install once Windows is up and running. So this bit can take some time. It can take even longer if you're going from floppy disks. But it shouldn't take too much longer now. just about installing fonts and system components. I like how it tells you what files it's installing as it's installing them, and not only does it tell you what files it's installing, but it also tells you what each file does, and I like that. So now we're going to let Windows, well, first of all, we're not going to install the network. Second of all, yeah, we're going to let it do all the modifications for us in auto-exec and config. There we go. Now, we're going to let it search the C drive, certain applications. That's MS-DOS editor. Now, it doesn't have an option for Works 3 here, so we're just going to select Works 2.x. Works, learn, so it's learning Microsoft Works. That's WordPerfect. That's Microsoft Word 5.5. And that's learning Microsoft Word 5.5. What I'm going to do is I'll select these from the menu. I'll set these up a wee bit later. So now, I'm going to install Microsoft IntelliPoint. And then hopefully if I can get the mouse going, we can get some drivers going. If not, I'll just have to use the track point, which is what I used to use on the other T2130CT. There we go. Now this screen has got a resolution of 640 by 480, so this looks absolutely fine. At 640 by 480, and that is just not playing ball, but don't worry, I do have discs that will maybe work, including the disc with the drivers for this machine on it. So what I'm going to do, let's look for those, shall we? Let's do that now. Okay, so I've got the IntelliPoint drivers. So what I can do now is can run Microsoft IntelliPoint setup. So that's me just installing IntelliPoint. Which is brilliant. And then I wonder why things didn't work. Oh well. Moving on. Moving swiftly on. So away it goes, rattling the hard drive. we go. I'm just going to go into setup and reset one of the changes I made. And then we'll boot up. Actually, what I think I'll do is I will actually disconnect and then reconnect the mouse. And while I'm doing that, I'll make sure the pins don't fall out, the thumb screws don't fall out of the connection. Alright. There we go. Okay, so I've reconnected the serial mouse. So now it's just a case of seeing if the damn thing will work. Okay, still no cigar, but that's okay. What I will do is appearance, Windows default, and I want the large black mouse pointer. That's fine. That's been set up. And then, whoops, I want to go into Windows Setup. And what we want is to set up a mouse on serial. So, so going to have to do some driver experimentation. And that is never a good sign when Windows doesn't want to start. Why you do this, Windows? Okay, I'll be back once I've got the mouse working. Good news! I'm using my mouse to control the cursor. How am I doing that, you might ask? Well, I'll let you into a wee bit of a secret. I should maybe try installing the drivers for the mouse that came with the laptop instead of trying to be a bit fancy and installing Microsoft IntelliPoint. You know, these mice, you know, on systems like these, sometimes it does actually pay to use a correct mouse driver. Yes, I prefer IntelliPoint, but It's nice to know that, you know, I can either use the track point or a serial mouse. And that is fantastic. I did manage to, I mean, IntelliPoint is still there on the system. I did manage to reconfigure it so it doesn't start up by default. Now I'm having some slight issues with Windows. As I have been doing. Oh, jings. Why, Windows? Why? Let's try again. You know, on the last T2130CT, I never bothered because I don't remember having a serial mouse to actually use for this system. So, like I said, I mean, I just didn't bother. As you can see, COM1 serial mouse detected. So I really don't know what's up with this. At least it's not locking up as badly as it was before. I'm going to try running MemMaker, see if that helps. So once again, I'll be back as soon as I manage to solve the Windows conundrum. Okay, so now quite a lot of time has elapsed, and well, it's now 6:15 at night. I've tried completely reinstalling DOS and Windows to no avail. The machine crashes when I start Windows. With the Acupoint driver installed. However, it only crashes when I have the serial mouse plugged in. If I don't plug the serial mouse in, then Windows will actually load absolutely fine. It just takes a wee minute, that's all. There we go. So, let's actually install the display drivers and, you know, kind of see where we go from there. Okay, so I've managed to install the display drivers. So yeah, this is Toshiba Utilities. So we've got max time, which is for the battery. Hardware setup, which actually kind of is like the BIOS, really. So I wonder if setting these pointing devices to simultaneous will actually help it so that I will actually fix it so that I can actually use the mouse. That'd be nice. And it's just counting up all the RAM because I've changed some BIOS settings. Yeah, well. It'll be interesting to see what the mouse driver detects. It's saying it's detected the serial. Right. It will only use the serial mouse and not the PS2 trackpad. That wasn't very good. See, I really don't know what this machine has against this mouse. I just don't know, unless it's because this mouse is also a Logitech and it's not quite the right drivers. I just don't get it. And to be honest, it's actually quite annoying, you know? Alright, so I've set it back to auto selected, so I'll see now what happens when I go and try it with the enhanced display drivers, Ken. Also, Finesse was installed as well. So this time it's actually just kicking me back out of Windows. And that's me having unplugged the mouse. I really don't know what to say about this, because, yeah... So it's COM1 is going to be used. Display, LCD display colors, 256K. Processing speed. Low keyboard. Boot priority. CPU cache has been enabled. Yeah, it's COM1 that is used. And there's Finesse. So, I really don't know what to make of this mouse driver. I just don't. It's, so, I don't know what to do here. I wonder, actually, in fact, I think I do somewhere have a serial. Yes, I do. No, I don't actually. This is serial to PS2. So that would be if I wanted to, whoopsie-daisy, if I wanted to connect the serial mouse to a PS2 port, then yeah, that's the way to do it. I think I have another serial mouse, so what I'll do is I'll jump cut and I'll come back and I'll try another serial mouse. Different serial mouse? Not a problem. I was given this as part of that bundle of computer parts back in January. Oh! Oh, for some reason now I seem to be stuck with a banana-shaped Toshiba, and yeah, something's caught. Ah, there we go. Something's caught underneath this. Now, this mouse did take a while to get plugged in, so I hope I've not damaged the serial port. Okay, it's detected it. Let's test it in DOS. Excellent. All seems to be working just fine in DOS. And would you believe? It works in Windows. So ironically enough, the issue that I seem to be having is with the Logitech mouse itself. This Radio Shack one seems to work absolutely fine, even if it is a wee bit tight. So I really don't know what is with this Logitech one. So yeah, I'll just what I'll do is I will just kind of plug the Logitech one back in, just to check that I've not damaged my COM port. Let's have a look. Nope. Oh, wait a minute. That's not good. Oh, yep, got it. So this is obviously something to do with the mouse that I'm using. You know, obviously it doesn't, you know, Windows for Workgroups does not seem to like it, which is rather a shame because I do. I think it's a fantastic mouse. Maybe it would work, you know, if I was using Logitech Cyberman drivers, but you know what? I'm not. I'll take a look, see if I can find any serial mouse to use, any nice wee COM port mouse that I can use. And if there is, then I will put it with this machine. So I'll be right back. Set rep. I was able to find this Microsoft mouse, and it works. Okay, maybe it's maybe not the best in the world, but you know, it does actually go. So I think that is something. So, I think I'll do is I'll just kind of clean it. Okay, enough time messing around with mice. I'm quite happy with the way this Microsoft mouse is running. I've cleaned it with, I actually used some of the CD laser lens cleaner. So if that was a wrong thing, then I do apologise. But the mouse seems to be running nice and smooth. I don't know if that's because it was cleaned or because of the lubricating effects of the CD laser lens cleaner. Anyway, I think it's time to install some more apps, actually. There's quite a lot that I fancy installing on here. And I really don't know why, because I will probably be switching this with a CF card as soon as I find it. Anyway, I suppose the machine had Acrobat Reader 3 on it before, so I best give it Acrobat Reader 3 once again. Yeah, that took a long while. That was quite painful, actually. It was torturing me! Right. Okay, next. Now, what I think I will do is I'll install the best of Windows Entertainment Pack and Entertainment Pack for Packard Bell. Because what I want to do is I like to try and minimise some of the program groups that are on here. And in order to do that, I will actually need to you know, combine some program groups. But if you think that is my only trick to reducing the number of program groups, then I'm afraid you are sadly mistaken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one open, and then best of entertainment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tile these so that I can actually compare and contrast what these have. There we go. So, both have Dr. Blackjack, both have Rodent's Revenge. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm actually going to, well, I've just thought, I'll start copying these into games. Actually, I've done this wrong. I should have left it how it was. Deleted the duplicates, and yeah, that didn't go as well as I was hoping, because to be honest, I am a bit of an idiot. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tile these. Right, so there's 2 Dr. Blackjacks, 2 Rodent Revenges, 2 Ski Frees. I know that without even having a look. Is there 2 Life Genesis? Nope. 2 Rattler Races? Nope. 2 Chesses? Nope. 2 Fuji Golfs? Nope. 2 Jigsawed? Nope. So, the rest of these can go in here. And what I've done now is I've actually managed to compress 3 program groups down into 1. Absolutely fantastic. So what I can do is delete this and delete this. Now, arguably, that was a wee bit too simple. Anyone who's got even a slight amount of knowledge of Windows WorkGroups 3.11 probably knew how to do this. So, let's see then, therefore, if we can up the ante a wee bit. So, what I'm going to do now is install Microsoft Works and install, then I am going to install Microsoft Money. If you remember, we had Microsoft Works 4.0 on the other install. Complete installation. Yeah, we'll copy it to the Microsoft Works for Windows program group. Listen at that hard disk. I really do wonder if this would take a 2 gig disk. I really do hope so, because I actually have a 2 gig disk in a drawer. Okay, so Microsoft Money has now, just about installed. So, I bet you're wondering what I'm going to be doing with Microsoft Works and Microsoft Money. Am I going to make a program group called Microsoft Home and stick the icons for Microsoft Works and the icons for Microsoft Money in there? Well, to be honest, no. Because that's just what you'd be expecting me to do. No. What I'm going to do, and to be honest, some of you probably might actually know where I'm going with this, is, if it's even on this disk, which it isn't, I'm actually going to be using a tool called Plugin. Now, what Plugin is, for those of you who don't know, is a set of, well, I don't really know how to describe it, but it loads up at startup and it basically enhances a program manager user experience. You can actually do things like, you can actually have your remaining hard disk space displayed in your title bar. You can, you have options to restart the computer when you go to exit Windows. And in the run dialog box, it will actually save a list of the last things you executed from it, just like it would in the Windows 95 one. However, what you also have is the ability to modify program groups in the program manager. And this is actually bringing us closer to why I'm installing this. So let me just register it and I'll be right back. Okay, so now Plugin is installed. A couple of things I'm going to do. First off, I'm going to get rid of this stupid mouse pointer. Even if it is bigger, I prefer the Microsoft or Logitech ones. Now, that's done. I'm going to set the program manager icon so that it's the default. I don't like the experience to be too far removed from the Windows 3.1 experience. So, as you can see, some of the program groups have started sprouting icons. We're going to do some more. So, we're going to select, what we're going to do is we're going to copy the location of the Microsoft msworks.exe file, as it has the icon for Microsoft Works. Then, what we're going to do, select Microsoft Works for Windows, File, change icon, Control V it back, and now you see we have the Microsoft Works icon. So Microsoft Works for Windows program group has a Works icon. Now I'm going to do the same with the Microsoft Money icon. And you can also right click on the program group and select change icon. Again, got Microsoft Money, and there you have it. Microsoft Works for Windows is the Works icon and Microsoft Money is the Money icon. However, we've still got the same number of program groups we had before. Let me show you another feature of Plugin. So what I'm going to do is create a new group called Microsoft Utilities. No. Microsoft Applications. There we go. Now with my new program group, I'm going to drag Microsoft Works into it and Microsoft Money. And what we have now is something that I think Program Manager should have had from the very beginning. Nested program groups. This is very useful. Now this is something that Microsoft only kind of adopted when they went from Program Manager to the Explorer shell. when they had nested program groups, you know, in the start menu. But this is a very useful thing to have, because, you know, if you've got lots of apps of a similar type, you can actually bunch them all together into their own program groups, so you're not having to scroll through endless lists of program groups. Because I'm going to be honest, once Program Manager starts to get overpopulated, it becomes very wearisome to try and manage. So there you have it. So I'm not going to pretend that I've fully installed this machine to how I want it, but I think that will do for this video. It's already grown to be exceedingly long, and to be honest, what I've decided to do is to upgrade the hard disk in this machine. So I really do think it would be quite pointless to actually go ahead and reinstall everything, only to then have to do it all over again. So what I'll do now is I'll shut down to DOS, and I will end this video here. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Also, feel free to like my channel on Facebook, Videos on Frontier, and feel free to read my blog. The URLs for everything will follow. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and please join me for my next video.